Yeah, you're crazy. Did Charlotte have some water?
Okay, we're starting. Welcome to Rubbing Elbows. I am Karin Wolok, and this is my co-host and brother.
Hey, what's going on? Happy to be back, and these are fun. So let's keep it going.
Yariv Wolok.
I should say my
today,
name.
You should say your name, but it's okay. I said it for you. And today we have a super special guest. I was actually thinking how, right before we got on, how interesting this was, because last week we had Michael Grosier from Live Nation, and he was my boss's boss after Alvon was my boss for many years. So Alvon kind of set the scene. It's a lot. It gets really deep with the things that Alvon has taught me and how it translates into my world now. But We have Alvon Miller, the CEO and founder of Burn It Down Group and the director of marketing at Shady Records.
Yes, sir.
And for those who don't know, that's Eminem's record label. Eminem, amongst other people, I guess. Right. And this show is called Rubbing Elbows. I told you guys right before we started recording that there was going to be a little bit of a weird intro. I had a discovery this week that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to share it. So it turns out that this part of your elbow is called a weenus.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know this. I feel like I knew it, but I didn't really know.
I think you knew. I think you've told me that before.
You think I've told you that the bottom of your elbow?
I think you've told me this before. I think you knew. I think you already knew.
I have a feeling where this is going.
Well, it's rubbing weenuses.
Yeah.
So let's all show our weenus. I'm sorry. I discovered that this week, and I just thought it was interesting.
That's good. I'm gonna use that today.
Yeah.
Let's rub weenus.
Let's rub that weenus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Al! Thanks for doing this. It's really exciting.
Thank
to have
you guys. You guys look so attractive. You're so pretty. You're so handsome. Definitely related.
Thank you, Alvon. You're quite handsome yourself. Appreciate it.
The Woloks. So Al,
funny enough, you're KY, so it's kind of crazy.
That's actually, we know that. KY. And actually, all of the sewer systems we used to see growing up, they all had, what was it, KYW, right?
I think it was KYY. KYW is the 1060 radio station.
No, I thought it was KYW.
Oh, see, it's good. Radio vibes. I love it.
Radio vibes. Yeah. We have the KYWs, the combination of things. So this one's, I think, kind of an interesting one, because we've had some interviews recently that I didn't really know the background of people as much. Alvon and I, we go pretty way back. So I have kind of an idea of his story, but I do have to some degree, but I was actually going to say that I feel like I'm going to get a lot of interesting discoveries.
Wow, I wonder if we've ever spoken. But we probably have, because me and Karin had amazing times. I might have told her on a beach one time.
Yeah.
Or in a board meeting,
Miami.
or just on the phone. So it's who knows?
We've had a lot of adventures together. I have a lot of memories flying through my head. Just every time I see your face, it's all of it goes through my head. But I really want to kind of dig a little bit into your life story and how you got started to where you are. I mean, you've been doing this a long time, since you were 16 before.
So you do know some stuff.
I do know some stuff. You've always given me tidbits, I hear a little bit here and there, and I was like, oh, okay. So I've heard a little bit of the stories, but my brother hasn't. So I think this is going to be a nice balance. Where
it's pretty wild. It's like the Wonder Years for Blacks. And I think they're coming out with that show too, the Wonder Years for Blacks.
Really?
I think they're doing that. I think they're relaunching the Wonder Years with a Black family.
Really?
100%.
Same title?
Oh,
same title. 100%.
It can work.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
You want me to start?
Yeah, start. Just give us a little bit of your breakdown, your story.
My story it starts off with gloom, guys. It starts off with some gloom. So, I definitely did not ever think in a million years, I never even cared about the music industry. Never in my life, never had a thought about it. When I was growing up, I wanted to either be a lawyer or play basketball. That's what like I was trying to do.
I didn't know you wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah, that's what I like. You should know that. I love to argue.
Complete opposite.
I know that.
You love debating.
I fucking love arguing. I love positioning. I love parlaying. So my father passed away when I was like 16. So that was horrible blow, you know. So for me, it kind of like whirlwind, whatever. And then, you know, he left me some money. So, but that was kind of like good and bad because when you don't got no guidance, but you got money, it's just like, what are you doing? So I was like, so like immediately I like, just was like, you know, I was out of here, you know, but me being like, kind of like an old soul, old vibe, you know, New York City being like like New York City basically was my campus, like the whole, like Manhattan, New York City. So, you know, moving around, shaking, I freaking, like, just to keep it real, like, I saw a flyer on the floor, real shit, said Club Vinyl. It was like free to get in. And I think it was like 18 over. I think I had a fake ID. So I was like, ooh, I got a fake ID, whatever. I went to this party. And, you know, they had, you know, I don't know if you guys know, but, you know, they say if you're, you know, from this time to this time, you're free. You'll get in for free. So I made sure, me and my friends made sure we were there to be free. And the people did us dirty, had us wait online so long to the point where we got up to the part to get in. It was past the time. So, of course, me with the words and wanting to argue, I pretty much talked my way in there. And my
Not
friends,
surprising.
So the lady, her name was Lilette Pizarro, you know, she's done so many amazing things. You know her, you know, RPM.
We'll have to give some background about her.
We'll give background.
Like, when
so
we get
she
there.
was like, after she let us in, she pulled me and my friends aside, like, yo, I like how you guys talk. I like how you guys look. Yo, like, you guys should, you know, we should link. So link with her. And she ended up giving us, without us kind of knowing, she gave us an internship at Elektra Records.
Isn't that funny that you guys didn't even know? It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
She gave us a like pretty much an intern. Like everyone just calling me, like it's crazy. Charlotte.
It's not crazy. That happens to you literally all the time.
You gotta call Miss Knuckles.
Tell Joe to stop calling Miss Knuckles.
You gotta call Miss Knuckles. So so we pretty much interned at Elektra. Charlotte,
who's calling now?
I pretty much interned at Elektra Records. You know, was mad cool. Helped create this thing called the Mix Show Power Summit at the same point in time, and you know, just was thrown into the business. But it was dope because I was getting paid to promote their parties and do their parties. And in the daytime, interning at the label. So it was awesome for me because I was a young kid. I had all this money, so I looked great. You know, I had like a gold chain. I had a fucking Rolex. So, and this also was good to me because I really didn't need them like that. Like, you know, like I'm gonna keep it real. I even was, you know, I was selling little drugs in the neighborhood. You know.
Hustling
happening. It was like that was my stock exchange, you know. There was. So doing that, whatever. And then, you know, start traveling. I went to the Mix Show Power Summit, met a dude by the name of Chris LaMonica. He literally gave me my first independent account with Outkast, and I was doing all the grassroots marketing just for New York for Stank On Your album. And he also was doing promotion with like Riddick Bowen Fight. So he led me into that. So that was pretty cool. You know, rest in peace. He passed away. So within that, I met through Lilette, and then I met Mark LaBelle. Mark LaBelle asked me to help him with his party. It was kind of like they were all pimping me because like everybody wanted me to promote their parties because I was a handsome young kid. I knew how to dance. So it's like, once I like if a girl or someone saw me dancing and then I was giving them like a fire, they was like, oh, he's the guy that was dancing last week.
Alvon is definitely that dude who's
like
just
had my own, right. So I kind of like had my own like little, it was crazy. I actually, within this time, I was dating a college professor who's like 27, 28 years old. She thought I was 21. I was not 21. I was not 21.
Oops.
He was just
And then later on in life, I seen that lady again. She was like married to like one of Snoop Dogg's like managers or something like that. It was kind of weird. But back that to the whatever. So through Mark LaBelle, we was throwing this
Mark
party.
LaBelle, for background, is he works at Shady.
Yes, Mark's is the vice president at Shady. So Mark, he was throwing this cool ass party called Sweet Thing Tuesday. So, like Cypher Sounds was the DJ, Max Glazer. This is all before, people blow. It was a great point in time in history for New York because it was before bottle service and things like that. So working with Mark, we all worked for this other person that Lillette introduced us to, Renee McClain. So Renee McClain, he was involved in pioneering like real grassroots marketing, like wrapping the vehicles, doing the posters, involving the radio campaigns with what you were doing in the street, catering to the DJs, like, making it real, like really giving them the voice that they deserve as being the ones that, make the shit go. So within learning all that, like, that's why when she called out those call letters, it was like, that's part of the tutelage, knowing all these call letters, whatever. So within that, me and Renee, he kind of like took things to another level because since he had this Mix Show Power Summit thing, every label dealt with him. You know what I'm saying? Because every label wanted to like be like, his DJ program was just so elite, and his marketing, because of us and other things he was doing around the nation, was so elite. So, I learned that from him. And, like a person who's learning, I'm never a person that's like, I don't like handouts. I really don't like to ask people for stuff. So if I'm learning something, I usually try to do it myself. So through Mark, we met this other dude by the name of Scrappy, and we started our own marketing company. So we started our own marketing company. Then we had our own van. I got the grassroots team together. It was all my friends. So then I put all my friends onto the music business. We were freaking riding around New York City between the ages of 17 to probably like 22, just causing a chaos and making mad money. Like doing the first, like, I remember we were like the first people to do sneaker campaign, like grassroots, for like the Nike Dunks. Like we was the first to promote the X Games, like the first X Games ever. Like, we did so much first things. First people to like wrap a luxury car, different things like that. It was so amazing. And then within that, Mix Show Power Summit, and then the parties, within this time, Eminem comes around, just as, you got to remember, there's no social media, there's barely internet like that, so it's like Eminem comes around as an account, basically, to work his record. It comes to under Renee to work Eminem. So doing parties, doing things, M comes to parties, meet him at the parties, having to go around with him, people hating on him. I'm talking about throwing bottles, white boy on stage, rap, all this stuff. But he persevered. It was dope. So then after like kind of like the whole thing, it's like you didn't know he was gonna be like who he was. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, so pretty much like to keep it 100%. So Mark pretty much like stopped working with Renee to work with Eminem and Dre. And it basically was like, yo, who's coming with me? Not to say, I'm super into loyalty. So I was like, yo, I'm going to just continue to just fuck with Renee, whatever. You're older than me. So, that's what you've been working for that for way longer. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm here. If anybody needs anything, I'm here.
How old were you at the time?
I had to be, when that happened, I had to be like 1998, 1999. So I'm probably like 18, 19 years old.
Wow.
At this point. So then that happened.
Yeah. And, I know, it's crazy. He's got a crazy story.
Right. Yeah, so then that happened, and literally like 3 or 4 weeks, it's like an explosion. And this guy is like everywhere. And I'm home. I'm broke. I'm like, oh my God, I could have been with him everywhere. What the fuck did I do? Like, goddamn. So then that kind of like took me out of that kind of like spiraled me out of like the music stuff, because there was a lot going on then. It was just like, Shady business, different things. arguing with, partners and stuff like that, so then like there was like a breakup, and that's when I kind of like more so, because independence more so went back into like doing the parties and stuff like that. And I kid you not, like this is real like shit. Matter of fact, I have to, before I go into that, I have to give some respect to this part of my story. So within that, I kind of got like a independent buzz, and through Mark's parties too, I met some other people. I met Black Rob, rest in peace, and I met this other dude named Van, and it was on my birthday actually. During this time, I was with my friend. His name was Shorty Black, a rapper, and like he did a freestyle in front, and Black Rob took a liking to him, whatever. So that led to us linking with this dude Van, and we created like our own little like clothing line plus company called Vampire Attire, Vampire Entertainment, and we were doing some really good things, man. We was like doing like awesome shit. Like Stephen Baldwin was our backer. It was crazy. Like I actually lived in one of Stephen Baldwin's houses on 17th Street and 6th Avenue with my friend and mentor Rob Matthews.
That's cool.
You're right, yo. And it was amazing. And you know what? And it's very random. I got kicked out. We got kicked out because of it was weird because we got kicked out of the apartment because we weren't gay.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a real thing.
Alvon. No, for real. Like because the apartment was like that area was full of those, like that type, and it was crazy. And I like in the board meeting, I actually like was like, how could you guys not want us here? And I'm Black. And it's like, you're gay, I'm Black. We both deal with that type of diversity. Like, what?
No, like that's not my type of diversity.
That doesn't make. I will actually want, but that's another story. Whatever. So I lived with like Steve Warren had his apartment, and I lived there. It was amazing. So at this whole time trying to like develop this company, Vampire was going great. But I had my friends down. But I don't think God, I think God did not want us to be successful together because it was just so much intermingling of, just hate, jealousy and stuff. Never by me. I'm always a very confident, open person trying to help everybody. Mm-hmm. So that was like a good point because it showed me like how to like do things like operations, like things on my own, like budgets, manage team building, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And then within that time, I'm still like bumping in to like Eminem, like here and there, like, at this place, and I'm seeing Mark and he's still showing love. Bumping to me at Mixed Power Summit. I meet Paul Rosenberg for the only second time. He still remember me. I meet him at a Limp Bizkit event, oddly enough. And he's still showing love. So
for background, Paul Rosenberg. You have to tell people who it is.
Yeah, Eminem's manager and his partner.
In case people don't know, because
in case they don't know, so
yeah.
So within all this is happening, like I told you, I'm like kind of like now I'm dipping more into the parties, and this is where it gets wild, guys.
Hold on, Alvon. Alvon, real quick, how much time has it been since you said you were 18, 19? Did you spend about 2 years by
So I would say from 16 to about 21, I'm like
on your own type of thing,
independent on my own. So when I first get my first marketing situation with Scrappy, we get Penalty Records account. So I'm doing Noriega, everything Noriega. I'm doing everything $500,000, Pharoah Monch shit, back the fuck up record. What else I'm doing? I got DITC Van, Digging in the Crates crew. I freaking got fucking KRS-One Van when he tried to come back out again. Ideal. I'm working for Virgin. So during all this time, I'm independent, and I'm a kid. So like, since I'm a kid, and I guess I'm getting like my father's like social security benefits, however the government does it. Sure. I'm a kid, and I'm literally getting like anywhere from like $5,000 to like $7,000 a month from the year of 16 where he died to where I'm 20 years old. So I'm literally, and plus I'm getting probably like, I created a flyer distributing company. So I'm making like $2,500 a week from this flyer distribution shit racket that I got going, correlating like 10 different parties, and just got grown. I'm like 17 years old with like grown men in the street paying them like $500, $600 a week to pass out flyers while I'm just chilling in the crib, smoking weed, playing video games with my friends. Literally.
He learned how to be a boss very early.
Like literally having my friend Mike Guzman drive the van around to go check on the distributors. Like, are they out there? All right, cool. Let's go back. Like,
you got to check on the distributors. You have to check on them.
But flyer distributors, like,
yeah,
like for real. So at this whole time, I won't get into other despair shit. It'll just get too crazy. That's probably for like a book or something. But throughout this time,
which you should consider doing.
Right. So at this time, I helped one of my mentors, a dude named Roland and Frank. They do a party with Ja Rule. Oddly enough, they're doing a party with Ja Rule in Manhattan. I'm helping them with the party. I'm kind of like a little bit removed from M and Mark and them right now. And I meet this white girl in the party smoking weed. And I'm like, yo, and this is like not now, this is then. I'm like, yo, you can't smoke weed in my party yet. It's like nobody.
Yeah, this is not now. Now
it's like there's nobody here yet. And yes, I want to smoke.
You told somebody not to smoke weed at the party. That's really interesting. Yo, that's a story really I never heard. That's and crazy. I could have never imagined that.
I was like, I want to smoke the weed with you, but you can't smoke it now. But you could smoke it outside. So she was like, would you want to come outside and smoke weed with me? I was like, all right, cool. So one thing leads to another. I go smoke weed with this girl. We go outside. We walk all the way from, if you know where this spot called Chaos is at, it's on Delancey Street and Essex. And we walk from there all the way to the FDR Drive. We smoke joints, and we literally have sex on a park bench. And I've met her literally 40 minutes ago.
On a park bench.
On a park bench, have sex by the water, East River.
It must have been when you told her to not smoke weed inside.
Yeah, right. It was great.
She's like, this is the guy for me.
Then we literally walk back to the party. Because I'm like, yeah, I got to get my coin. Like, so she's like, so I'm thinking that's it. She's like, oh no, I want you to come back with me. I'm like, oh, I can't. I don't know. She's like, yes, please. So I go back to her because I'm a gentleman. So I go back with her to her place. So I get back to this place, and this is drinking Alvon. So I'm kind of like, I'm a little everybody in the club get tipsy. I'm there, and I'm like, this looks so familiar, but whatever. So I'm there, and I'm like, this is not your place. She's like, no, this is a friend's place. We're here in the living room. I'm like, no, I can't be in a living room. I'm like, I won't ever be able to go to sleep. I'm gonna be like, anytime a noise happens, I can't do it. So basically, she entices me to do it. I stay. And just like I thought, middle of the night or maybe in the morning, someone's like rattling the door. I'm like, oh my God, who's this? So they come through and they open the door. I'm like, Mark? He's like,
no way.
And it's Mark LaBelle. I'm in Mark LaBelle's house. And I'm like, yo, Mark, I hope this is not your girlfriend. He's like, no, definitely not. That's my girlfriend's best friend. My girl's in my room, in the other room. I'm like, yes, this is your house. This looks familiar. So I fucking run back into Mark LaBelle, coming off the road from some type of amazing shit he's doing with Eminem. And I'm like, yo, bro, like straight up, no bullshit. I'm like, yo, bro, I need a fucking job. Like, what's up? Like, I need a job. What's going on? And Mark LaBelle, like he was from us working, whatever. He put. I can't say enough about him. Put me on. Jew Unit.
That's awesome.
Put me on. Like
Jew Unit.
What kind of job?
Of course, within there's always little things. People put you on, whatever. But bare bones, can't say nothing else about it. Put me on. Didn't have to put me on. Put me on. Literally within from when I said what I said to him, literally put me on. 2 days later, had me meet him at the Shady Records office. It was in Soho. I was like, this shit is in Soho? Like, what the fuck? And then there was some gratification moments. So when I first go into the office, I see that he also had put on my homeboy Dart that he had introduced me to years ago, because Dart was a producer, and so that felt good to see Dart, first thing coming in. But then what was gratifying is when we was doing the whole vampire shit, we had certain music and certain mixtapes, and on all the A&R's desks, I saw that my mixtapes was there. So I was like, wow.
Nice.
I was
wow.
like, you know what I'm saying? So that was also another like, oh, you know,
making
like,
sure that like your stuff is being heard.
Like, right. So it was like, even on all those levels, I was still doing what I needed to be done. So met Paul, you know, kicked it with him. He told me what
Just
they was
for
lacking.
reference, A&Rs are the people who seek out new talent. Just for background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So met Paul. Paul told me like what he was looking for, what he wanted from me, you know, whatever. I kind of like worked for free for them on like a comeback for maybe like 2-3 months. I remember my first assignment because Mark had got the chicken pox. I had to go to Detroit by myself and kind of like run a promotion for this, like, I don't know if I can't really remember. It was like an anniversary thing with M and 50 was there and the whole G unit was there. It was like, it was intense. Like, and I was gangster enough in my, what I wanted to even tell them like, yo, I want to bring my brother with me. And they was like, yeah, you can bring your brother. So I brought and it wasn't even my real brother. I lied. Not my real brother. So Chris Bush is not my real brother.
Speaking of which, I talked to him yesterday, by the way.
Right. Watch out. Chris Bush, not my real brother, but let him know that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So let him fly out with me. And it was dope because it's like, I didn't realize that so much things that between Mark and so many things that people had built or been around, he used infrastructure. So when I got there, like I already knew M's whole security team because the whole security team was all the security guys from all the clubs in New York and different things like that. So it was like, oh shit. So they was like, oh, you know, I'm kind of like the baby of the industry because one of my jobs when I was with all those labels, I used to distribute the records. So I used to have to bring the actual 12-inch records to the club, to the DJs so they can play them in the club. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was like, y'all know, I had the fake ID, but the fake ID did not work in every club. So therefore, when I would go to certain clubs, they're like, I'm not fucking with you, kid. Get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, well, you're not getting, the DJ's not getting these records, and then fuck off. So they'd be like, and I'd be like, so then the DJ would have to come. I'm like,
again, Alvon uses his way of words to
So then
get himself pretty much anywhere.
Right. So instead of like belittling them where like a person would have to come out and shut them down, I would then like, you know, get to know them. So it's like, oh, this guy like weed. So let me make sure I bring him some weed. Like, oh, this guy, he might like to have let me go grab a few albums from the label and give these dudes albums or shirts or whatever. Yeah. So it's like, because you don't want to like force people. You want them to like feel good about doing anything for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, like, I never like to really like, she will tell you, I do have times of super power trips, but I feel like they're either warranted or someone has taken me there. But ultimately, I like to make people feel good about what they're doing with me. I want you to feel like you're a genius for fucking me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. So me and all the security dudes, whatever. So mind you, I kind of was like I told you in the beginning, I was like with M and them for a little bit. So no way I would think the dude is going to remember me, right? Like, no way. Like, it's fucking big Eminem, whatever. So literally this dude, and this is kind of like why I'm probably like still with these guys to this day and not went and took like a huge bag of money from like another label, because one thing people got to understand, at least I understand, I get to talk to my Jimmy IV, my Jay-Z whenever I want. I could pick up the phone, call Paul Rosenberg and just talk to him, get advice, tell me if I'm being dumb, whatever. Might make me feel like shit sometimes, whatever, but at least I have that access. You know what I'm saying? And then also, he's always just respected me to just do my own thing. Like, if I would have to be like hog-tied to a release date by a label on when I was working, that would be horrible. At least for me. Like, my mind is too massive for me to be tied to what y'all do. So within that, met Paul. He told me what he wanted. So, you know, work, did some free stuff, whatever. So one of my first things I noticed, you know, everybody was on 50, you know. Well, let me get to this part first. So M was doing a rehearsal in Detroit, and he's killing it. And it's like kind of like my first time really like seeing him other than like TV shit. And like the back in the day shit don't count, like at like little like rinky-dink spots, Life and places like that in New York. But so like now I'm like seeing him, and then it's even dope because I'm like, there's no one there and I'm seeing him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, just like a great, humble fucking guy he is, bro, comes off the stage, comes direct. I'm looking like, is he walking towards me? Like I'm like, Chris, you know, I'm like walking directly to me. And he comes to me and my brother Chris and asks us, how did he look out there?
Oh my God.
I was like, in my mind, I was like, you fucking looked amazing. That shit was crazy. Like, so from that on, so I don't know if he did it by design or if he just did it, but like he had me forever right there. Like that moment, I was just like, because I wasn't really like, I like liked him, but I wasn't like a fan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like a Cameron and Jay-Z guy. I kind of liked him for this remix he did on Funk Master Flex that I used to play in my van all the time. If I get locked up tonight, that's kind of like where I was like, yo, this kid is fucking amazing. But I wasn't like a fan. So then when he did that, I had to go into the scribes of all the music, everything. And then I just
what about that do you think really like kind of touched you?
I think it was the fact of, honestly, like, to keep it real now that I'm looking at it then, I think it was the same euphoria that a fan goes through, bro. It's like when someone so elite singles you out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when someone that you kind of feel like their opinion or whatever they're doing or saying matters, like it just, I don't know. It just made me, like I said today, it made me a Shady Records gang member. Like straight like that. And it almost like, you know, off record, on record, it's like almost kind of like was also to my detriment too, I would have to say. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I didn't take certain things or whatever, because I never really got that energy from no other artist. And even though like, you know, certain things don't go all the way I wanted to go, it's just like, that was, to me, that just was important. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then also too, the cachet of like saying you're working with the best, like for so long and learning from the best. Like even like right now, I just did an event the other day and, you know, you get the hairs on your neck to when you know something is not right or what to do. And that's all from tons of times with these people, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I know I also offered things to them as well, you know, because they've hired my friends to be their staff, you know, so those things, you know, like I was with y'all for 4 years before I seen y'all hire anybody. And then when I introduce my people, you hire my people. So we must be doing something right, you know? Karin almost got hired if she didn't send out an email with Benzino, you know?
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Everybody doesn't know all the things and that and this and the other.
Right.
We've done amazing things. Like Karin's, like people don't know, like companies like Rap Radar are owned by Paul Rosenberg. And like Karin helped us pop that whole website off and a whole bunch of other things. So just like all the other arms that created is just like crazy. Like now one of my best friends, Dro, now he's the A&R at Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, grabbed him up from there. You know, he had a felony. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't going to get hired nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so it's just like, and now he's lit. Like, you know, Chris had my brother Chris, you know, brought him along. He fucking took him on the road to be on anger management tour staff. He ends up doing security for Rihanna and freaking Kate Moss and different people like that. And it's like, you know.
And now Cardi B.
You know, met this girl, you know, and all the amazing shit she's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, so, you know, you did that and then, you know, met M and then it just was just a freaking roller coaster from that point on. And we just hit the ground running, 50 albums. And I kind of like concentrated, like, you know what, everybody's going to focus on M and 50. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on Obi Trice. And we did good. Obi went double platinum. You know, I hang that on my head very highly, you know what I'm saying? Because great music. But I know when I was going to those places, what they was trying to ask for and what I forced them to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like within that, I kind of like created like my own like version of payola to where it was like, you know what? I'm going to do these dope ass parties and all the parties. I'm going to fixture myself in as many parties as possible and control the booking of these DJs. So by me getting them jobs, they're going to play my records. Because if I'm getting you a job, there's no way you're telling me you're not playing my record.
That's very true.
Because if you're not playing my record, you don't got no job.
That's true.
So it was all kinds of things, but in the same token, it's just such a great thing. Because like I said, I never even wanted to do this shit. This shit probably just God probably just gave me this shit so I wouldn't like kill someone or something or myself. I don't know.
Or become a lawyer.
God forbid.
That would have been boring as fuck. That would have been so boring.
When you like think, because you've done a lot of stuff, like I even just think about like the short segment that I spent with you. I mean, which is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, but like still very short compared to like your career history. When you think about like all the things that you've done, what things like really stick out to you? Like whether it's an event or
I think it's something... like that segment that you're talking about, because like oddly enough, I probably never expressed this to anyone ever. I kind of like did that stuff for you guys. Like, I kind of like saw stuff from like you, Charlotte, even fucking idiot ass Yannick and certain people, because I didn't need to do any of this. You know what I'm saying?
Is it oh great? You can see why I love him so much.
What happened?
Whoever the idiot is. I was just laughing at that.
Fucking idiot, like a fucking idiot. Like I never met someone who did not respect their own blessings and was an idiot. But I did a lot because I didn't need to do any of those things. I was already the baby child of Shady Records. There's nothing I needed to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you meet people, you see other people's energies, and you think about certain things that's out there, whatever. And, had a good crew, So it's like, that was a good time for me because that was like me and my young misfits, like fucking the game up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we were just like doing whatever we wanted. Like, I bet like people like Coors Light, Samsung, all these elite companies never thought in their life they would be cutting a check to Burn It Down Group. Like, never in their lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my, like, and then also too, it was great for me because I got to live out a lot of things I wanted to do within you guys and show like, higher ups and people like Paul and other people like, I'm gonna do stuff lit regardless. Like we over here we're running the VMAs like right now. Like we're doing that. Like we're running the NFL draft like right now. Like we're doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, if you're not looking, we're helping Little Uzi get signed right now. Like we're helping Des Loaf get signed right now.
Let me ask you this, Alvon. Things have changed a lot with social media, right? And like Spotify and all these platforms, YouTube. Has that affected what you do? Because a lot of it was in person, right?
But it's like for me, it's like I've never wanted to be like the old fuddy-duddy person in the room. Like I always like listen to the youth, still listen to my old heads. So I'm kind of like in the middle. So it's like if you do what was done before plus what's available now, it's amazing. Like the problem is people are like trying to cut off one thing with other because it combined it. So for a person like me, it doesn't stop anything I do. It just enhances it because it's like, it's just like augmented reality. Like if you know what that is and you know how to manipulate, you can do amazing things with that. Absolutely. With physical space, augmented space, creating reward programs within it. Like it's so like NFTs. NFTs is a great thing because one, it gives you security. Oh, you worried about leaks? You worried about that? NFT something. Encryption crazy. It's crazy. Oh, you worried about like residuals and stuff? You could just do NFTs. You don't have to, it's just about your brain power and like if you're going to be a slave to something or you're going to use it as a tool. So I choose to use these things as tools rather than being slaves to them. Like,
great point.
Think about it. You bought an album. Yeah. I bought that album one time, and me as an artist, I don't get no more money from you. That sucks.
That's true.
That sucks. If you really think about it, that sucks.
Yes.
All right. So now they're streaming. I get money, and that's better. It's better.
That's true. That's a really good point.
It's better.
And there's a lot of like new ways to bring in revenue.
It's better. It's just better,
Yeah, but you have to utilize those things. I think
you got to utilize it. Also, too, you got to remember things are relevant because people own businesses. So CDs were only relevant because there's big execs at the labels that own pieces of the CD company. So they was fighting for that, you know? But even me and Karin was trying to do other stuff where it was like, why are y'all even doing CDs, even with streams? Why don't we do creative USB drives?
Right. I remember that.
Why don't we do art as USB drives and it has all the music, all of this? And they're still not doing it.
Right. Fighting change.
They're still not doing it. But we're about to do it. They're still not doing it. You know? We got an amazing artist named Leia, and she's going to do it all.
So let me ask you something. You mentioned AR, augmented reality. Is there any interest in virtual reality with like virtual concerts, virtual parties?
Oh yeah, all there. Yeah. You know, that's definitely the wave of the future. You know, especially if we could give the experience better. You know, to where you could, you know, for a person like M who, you know, he'd probably rather not go out. You know, so if he can have a sound stage created as exciting and give some deliverables to fans and consumers that make sense. You know, if I want to see you on a virtual show, you damn sure better be mailing me a T-shirt and something else.
Oh, that's a great point.
You know,
yeah,
you
like
know, so,
hybrid again, like what you're talking
you
about.
gotta,
right?
you gotta do
worlds.
things. You know, so
because
I
always
think the whole.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, I think like the whole marijuana revolution is gonna do a lot of different things because if you see people are kind of like marijuana is almost like mixtapes back in the days. Almost.
In what way?
Because it's like right now, like people are taking weed and creating like creative cover art and it's just reselling the weed and then putting QR codes on it. It could be an album.
That's interesting. You're right. That's
some half
like,
baked.
You know, so if I put like weed or something like say like for instance, Leia has a song called Bitter, right? Her video is lemons and whatever. So if I go get a lemon strain and call it Bitter, and you know, and then I put her fucking single QR code on there, as you're getting this weed, you're also getting the album, and like, why not?
That's actually Alvon always comes up with these like eccentric really ideas that you're like, whoa, how did you even think about that?
And then why not? Why not have it when you have that package and you QR code it? Why not be able to look at it with the augmented reality screen to see other things?
That would be so cool, though.
Why not have that same artwork be NFT'd? You know what I'm saying? Why not? Why not? You know? So, yeah, man.
It's true.
And why not go into a room and tell everybody turn a fucking airdrop on it? Airdrop everybody who don't have it. Just like that. I don't got to touch you. I can airdrop you.
It's COVID. You don't have to touch anyone.
Or I might see you decline my shit and I might talk about you. Why are you declining my shit?
Hey, Al, so I have another question for you. This is more about like the industry itself, right? So when you like, because you've done a lot of stuff, right? And I'm sure you've learned a lot, which I want to get into too. But things about that you love about this industry versus things that you would change.
Say it again. Things about what and what?
About that you love about the industry, like the industry that you're in, right? You work in entertainment.
I literally probably don't love anything about this industry.
Okay, it's a great answer.
What would you change then?
Yeah, how would you?
I think people need to give knowledge up. I don't think it's fair. Like for me, with me managing a client or a producer or anything, I'm not trying to hide deliverables or rewards or percentages from them because it's a fucking $1 billion space of money to be shared. So why would I be trying to own creative of things that I didn't create? Like, why aren't I just giving moral and natural partnerships with people? Like,
that's a great point.
Why would you go in the room and tell an artist, oh, I think you're more talented than Beyonce, but then try to take her publishing and give her a 360 deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm more talented than Beyonce, wouldn't you think you're going to get generational wealth from my talent regardless?
Yeah. Don't you think that's why the industry has changed so much? Because that idea really didn't work. Like, it worked because they had all the power, right? That it was kind of a small group of people. But as soon as the opportunity came to kind of disrupt that, I mean, it looks like people were very willing to leave you know, those record labels, and you know, there was no loyalty, like what you're talking about. Like why would there have been? Do you feel that you've made any change, like doing that, like just in what you can change yourself?
Well, you kind of like look for same page people, like people that kind of like fit your energy, fit your vibe, fit your morality, fit your lifestyle.
It's hard.
And it's kind of like, it's almost like you feel like things that people in business have said are like things to trick you not to do the good business. So for me, for instance, you know, they try, what's the one thing they say? Don't like business never personal or something. To me, business is the most personal thing I have. If I do not like you, I do not want to get money with you.
I mean, the way when your whole story, everything you're talking about is I met this person and that got me here, and I met this person and that got me here.
Right. And then, and even to the most part, there has been situations where you don't like someone, you get money, but you still respect them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Respect is I would say.
So it's like, even within this respect, there is a form of like within the respect.
Totally.
So, but if you don't rub me the wrong way, I have so many outlets to get something. So I don't necessarily.
That's also a trust thing, I think. If someone doesn't rub you the right way, somebody you don't like, it's usually like a trust thing.
No, but it's really, to me, it's really like, well, at least for me, because, you know, everybody, you know, whether if they like it or not, however they project their life is kind of like from things that they were lacking, rather as a kid or something. So for me, having early deaths and different things like that, I felt like without me knowing, I was always trying to project business to be a family.
Interesting.
When I might have been doing the wrong thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but also within the family, I also give myself, I also, what's the word I'm looking for? I also know that I probably within that family gave certain people the wrong attention and certain people didn't get enough attention. You know what I'm saying? But that's the same thing that happens in a family. You know what I'm saying? But within that, I look back to say, you know what? I really didn't, like, no disrespect to anybody I work with, I really didn't even need to give all of myself to these people because I already was presenting them with opportunity.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, you just kind of like for me, I just don't regret things. So like everything that's happened is always a stepping stone or a learning experience because, you know, I just helped the artist just get signed to Sony 2 years ago, Ken and Fabio Foreman. And I was just working with an artist named Leaf before him that they're like the same sign, the same kind of energy. And totally Leaf prepared me for everything I had to do without them.
Interesting.
Like, literally, and they're totally different types of music, but same type of energy. I would say he might be a little bit more like real than her, but you know, no disrespect to her, she has a more kind of like lucrative situation. She got your stepdaughter, you know, her father has been big, her father and mother is big, so it's a little bit more, you know, not to say spoiling, but it's a more of, if this don't work, I still got something to fall back on. This kid, if this don't work, he ain't got nothing to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? So
right, that hungry, it's like
energy. So within that, you know, the same old tricks worked to help them get signed. It's just like, you know, keeping it real. And Karin can attest to this. When we present plans to people, rarely does anyone take the whole plan. They take pieces and bits of that what they like, and then they want you to still give them the projection or the residuals of that plan. But it's like you're not picking the plan, bro. You're picking what you want.
Pieces
so this is a kid that listened to the whole plan.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And when certain people listen to the whole plan, it's like it comes out how it's supposed to come out. It's an equation. So, you know, I would say like for music, you know, continue to go with the feel. Throw those numbers out the window. That's the reason why we don't have icons right now, because everybody's chasing numbers. You're not chasing a feel. You know, you're going off singles. You're not going off bodies of work. You know, what's that song that the dude with the ocean spray riding around, he's done brought back that song. Some people have never heard that song before in their lives, and it's giving new energy, but that's just 20-year-old record.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's like, I always say it's not old until it's paid for, but it's also, music is timeless. So it's like, it's just about the feel that you give certain things. But for music to kind of like continue to progress, we got to get off that number shit. We kind of like, well, not to say progressive. We want to build some more icons and have some more Rihannas and some more Beyoncés and people like that. We gotta go afield. Like how can you be an A&R and you don't go out?
That's true.
A&Rs would travel all over the world looking for different talent, different fields, different vibes. You really ain't getting that vibe from the fucking YouTube, bro.
No, you're not. That's kind of what I was referring to earlier. It's like, can you supplement? And I don't think that you can, to be honest with you. I'm a tech guy, but you can't supplement like going on tour and meeting with people and setting up these big parties with just like a VR experience, right? Or an AR experience.
Different.
So in your mind though, do you see that making kind of a resurgence? Because at the same time, while streaming and all that has become a humongous thing, I feel like being there is even bigger now.
Well, I think because of COVID, it kind of reset us. So now it's a euphoria to touch, to feel, to be around people, to do this, to see things like, you know. So I think COVID is going to give a real resurgence to the live show of people to be around. Like you can just see over the weekend, like it was crazy. This weekend, 4th of July was crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was an event in New York City with Doja Cat in Coney Island. No one had on a damn, no person had on a mask. Nobody. So it's just like
people are just rubbing weenuses.
You know, there's rubbing weenuses, throwing them bows, and you know, it's gonna be bigger too because sets are getting amazing. People are creating great sets.
Yeah,
you know, other things that you give people like airdrop marketing can offer such great like energy within if people are doing it right. You know, I think, you know, and you know, there are some great performing artists out there now that really really give it up. So I think that it will always go because it's like, you know, music is just always going to be that other thing, you know, that thing that, you know, that just drives people. Like, I don't know. It'll be a real sad day where if music doesn't continue to drive us to a certain.
I don't think that's going to happen. You know, so I've been remote for 5 years. A lot of people are like now newly remote. And like, so I'm like, I've been doing it for a while. And one thing I've realized is that like being remote all the time is really tough because you are always in front of your computer. So like the drive to disconnect and just being able to experience things increases even more. So like, I actually predict that kind of this like more remote world and more connected world is actually going to drive us in an opposite direction in a weird way too.
Because you got to really understand too, especially a lot of these kids, they like, not to be crazy, but they would almost not care to die just to get the experience. If you're really keeping it real, they don't really care. They would still want to go to, they'd be like, fuck it.
Wow.
They would go to the show and be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they literally are doing right now.
Yeah.
We're literally saying, fuck it. If you want to keep it real.
I want to go back a little bit to some of the stuff that you kind of touched on a little bit, just kind of like over your professional career, you know, from when you were 16 years old and you were like this young kid just trying to get into this party for free to like where you are now. How do you think you've changed? Like, what have you like learned that have fundamentally changed you?
I kind of like at my present thought now, like right now, but compared to then and now. See, then it was really, I was just running. Like, I was really like, I could keep it real to say like, that shit just like mentally helped me not think about my losses. You know what I'm saying? As a family and whatever. Kind of was like a smoke screen to like, I lashed out within the work. You know what I'm saying? Like the work is how I lashed out, you know, like trying to be great within the work. But now it's like, I'm confident in my craft.
Okay.
So now I don't care about like the business of it more so. I care about like the energy I'm putting out within the business. You know, like I'm never going to promote or ever will promote like a cigarette company. Like you gave me $1 billion not doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
If you got $1 billion, you wouldn't promote a cigarette company?
Would not do it because I'm not on death time. You know what I'm saying? Like, even down to the certain music, like, even down to a person like Fabio, like, if I didn't know him, like him living in my house and know him, I wouldn't fuck with that type of music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on that. But I know him as an individual, so therefore I gotta see him through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just got it. And I don't manage him or nothing. It's really like a fucking fairy. I'm like his fairy godparent. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta like see it through because, you know, even like the other day, oh, he's and this and that. You realize even if you ain't tied to these people as paper, people will tie you to them. You know what I'm saying? So, and if people are still coming around you and asking you for advice and asking you to do that, and you're doing this and that, there's got to be accountability on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say for me right now, it's just more of just respecting who you are. Like, you know, like I might have not before, you know, question certain individuals strongly within something. But now I'm like, if you got me in the room and you have me here, it's for me to question.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not here to, if you wanted me to be a yes man, then I should not be here. I'm not here for that.
That's
and,
interesting.
Sometimes that hurts you because, you know, sometimes people want people with them that's going to bend to their will or do their dirty work. People know I'm not your dirty work guy. They don't call me for that.
Yeah, I have that problem as well.
I'm not. You don't call me to go try to fire my friend. I'm not doing that.
But you know, that is the value of you. I'm actually going through a book called Lynchpin right now, and it has a lot to do with that about being the person who goes against the grain.
Yeah, right? I'm not because I said to myself, like, am I upset? Like, so if a person did everything I said that I wanted them to do, would that then make me like them more? And if that's true, then that's not fair.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? So I got to move in a different light to where I call it the mirror theory. You know what I'm saying? If there's any problem, and this is my own, I don't know if it's a book, this is my own thing to myself. I call it the mirror theory. So I set everything off with myself first because I'm that strong. I'm that powerful. I persuade people to do crazy shit. So therefore, if any mistakes or issues happen, it's on me. Like, if I didn't voice that opinion, if I didn't set that tone, people will only do what you allow them to do. You know, so
that's interesting.
And if you don't fight for
100%.
Say it again.
When do you think you kind of came to this realization? Was this like over time? Because like you said, it was kind of like
it kind of was like
I
freaking honestly, a lot of it came during the pandemic. I'm not vegan
during
right
the pandemic.
Now,
wow, I thought it was
during the pandemic, I became vegan and a whole bunch of different other things because, you know, certain things make sense and certain things don't make sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, and then when you kind of like, I almost like, it sounds weird, but I'm like so much in love with the person I'm in love with. Like, I almost feel like I prayed for the pandemic because it was like, for me, things was the experience of being with her. Like, I didn't even really like, so the more time with her of the experience was like great for me. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, if you're a parent and if you're not the best parent ever after coming out of this, you're just a failing person. Because right now we got real, like, you know how they say you can know someone for 10 years, but only have maybe spent like 6 months of time with them,
right?
Like physical time.
Right, you're absolutely right.
So this time either lets you know if you really like someone, love someone, hate someone,
or hate someone,
whatever. Mm-hmm. But it also was a good time for you to look into the mirror at yourself to be like, what do I like doing? What do I not like doing? Like, and I've looked in the mirror and said, you know what, Alvon, you really have done your thing on doing everything you want to do and nothing you have to do. So continue that energy, you know, have horse blockers about your energy because sometimes you look at other people's plates like, Dad, I want that meal, but you don't even know how it tastes. You don't know what it costs. You don't, you know, so it's just like, stick to what you're doing. Stick to what you got going on. You shouldn't really, because, you know, we try to jump in people's shoes and we don't know what they did to get there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you jump into someone's shoes, if you're going to try to jump in, you got to jump in and take everything that's with that situation. So for me, I've always looked at my situation of what I created for myself as being the best situation ever in life. Like,
so if you were giving your young self advice, what would that be?
I would definitely tell him wild shit different, like wild stuff. I would tell him to fight for ownership way earlier, you know, like fight to control narratives way earlier, like way earlier. I would tell him to don't trust people, know people. You know, it's like I don't want to trust you. I want to know you. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's weird, but it's big. You know, but it's big in my mind. I would tell him to smell the roses a little bit more. I think I did a lot of just like it'll be times like can I tell you fucking in Detroit doing like Eminem home concert, and it's like, you know, you're doing it, you're ripping around, but you never really like stop to be like, yo, shit, I'm fucking doing Eminem's home fucking concert. Like, fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't even got a college education. What the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit. Like, and I'm not like little doing it. I'm like, I'm doing this shit. Like,
there's
you know
no college for your education.
There's
no college for your education.
Yeah, I would have to say, I run into so many interns that I've had across the years, and a lot of them, Syracuse University, whatever, different places, whatever, and have definitely told me like the little 6 months with me is like more than 4 years.
Dude, I think it set me up like for literally everything I'm doing now.
Right.
I have to show you my algorithm and the base and database shirts. The algorithm and the base, you would like it.
Oh, that's fine.
It is really good. It's
that's
really
good. That's good.
I actually, but you know, like
the base. That's so good.
I know algorithm in the database. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But I feel like when I just reflect on it, of like all the things that I've learned, you know, like is first of all like the partnerships thing, like always doing things with other people and things like that. It's like, I mean, so much of it is like has seeped into what I'm doing now. Like, even though I completely switched industries, I work with software developers now in every direction. You know, like the team I'm working with that building the stuff is software engineers. The people I market the products to,
right.
software engineers. It's all technical people, and still everything that I did with you is like all completely lined up and relevant. It's kind of crazy.
Well, because now like your industry is kind of like hip hop when it started. Like that's the new hip hop. Like tech industry is the new hip hop industry. You know
it's funny when she was going into it, because I was already in IT, and she was like, "Oh, I don't," I'm like going from entertainment to IT, and I said to her, I was like, "Look, you know how to bring cool." I was like, "There's nobody who needs that more."
That's so true.
Than IT. I was like, "Just
you did say that to me
for them." And she definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that from Al, how to bring cool.
Life is cool.
I definitely didn't know that on my own.
Cool.
Everybody wants to be cool, though. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody wants to be stylish, and a lot of the stuff you're talking about, it's very relevant, even in like IT. Like, you're talking about like the attention to detail with knowing the door guys, right, and security. Like my boss, my old boss who works in IT, he talks about that. He's like, I'll call people up. He's like, I'll find out what they like. He's like, I'll send them like a machine that makes drinks.
Yeah.
He's like, because all of a sudden they'll like me. He's like, I'll build a personal relationship with them. And that way, when I need something, it's like that. It's much easier. You're not doing it for some stranger. You're not doing it for a friend, right? For somebody you like. And then the doors just open at that point.
Al was getting the DJ's job, so they couldn't say no.
It was amazing. It was all good. It was fucking dope.
Yeah, are you still taking cabs everywhere? Have you been on the train ever? When I worked with Al, he like never ever took the train, like ever. It was just
because you guys got to realize.
I think he did the math. He was like spending like.
I'm a person who I physically saw the planes hit 9/11, like on the block. Physically saw it. So in my mind, I said, stuff like that's happening. I'm never getting in the train. Like, I'm never trying to be underground if any of these things happen. So I never, never. That's
well,
it.
you want control. You know, you're talking about having control over the narrative. I think you're the type of person who's like, I need to have control of myself. I need freedom.
Yeah, I could jump out the car and run. Can't jump out the train and go anywhere.
That's the truth.
That's true.
Can't do it.
Yeah, but it's also, you talk about your career. It's the same type of thing. You said, oh, I could have worked with like restrictions and stuff like that. I didn't want that. I wanted the freedom. Like Breakdown Group is like right underneath Shady, right? Like they let you do your own thing. That is very rare.
He does everything. He does everything. He's just involved in any project. It's like the most least restrictive like
to be able to get
ever.
paid and technically don't have to go into work, to the office or whatever, or people respect you enough that they let you move how you want to move. Like, you know, just like, that's it. That's like, I don't know. That's what I would be. If I was a person out here trying to do a career, I'm the top of the thing for me would be freedom.
Same with me. That's what I talk about all the time. It's the only reason we were talking about with John Gossier. I was just like, that is the goal with money for me personally, is freedom. Freedom to make a choice, to be able to walk away if you need to walk away. If you have money, you can walk away from the table.
But also like freedom inside of the job that you're doing, where you have the ability to have creative flexibility. You know, like one of the things I liked working with Al is like, you could just make stuff up and like, just do it, you know? And it was crazy because like I went to Live Nation afterwards, and Michael Grosier, who was my boss's boss at the time, I remember he sat with me and he said, your imagination is your only limitation. And that wasn't true, because there's so many restrictions in a big company. You can't do this. You can't do this. They do it this way. There's policy here. I'm like, all this red tape.
That was my thing too. It's
like, I was like, yeah, put the weed with the albums. Like, that's what I came from.
Yeah, I'm not going to, like, no disrespect, I'm not going to restrict my mind just around Eminem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Eminem doesn't like this campaign or whatever, I'm going to pitch it to someone else and they're going to like it. And then you're going to see it and you're going to ask me why I didn't do it. And I'm like, I already pitched that to you. What are you doing? I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it happens countless times. It's like, you know, like that's why when we went and Paul like became CEO of Def Jam and then I had to go to Def Jam, it was like weird to me because I was like, Dad, bro, like you've based my whole career on being better than these people. Like, you know, and like I got so better than a lot of the people that in Kalina Tesla, all the labels used to hire us for the side work.
Yep. Yeah.
I would get
How was that transition anyway?
From other labels than I would get from my own job.
Was it a big transition to move over to Def Jam? Like, do you have any like?
It was a culture freaking shock because you realize that.
So background, they went from Interscope. They were under Interscope, and then they went over to Def Jam. And then Paul took a new position.
And Def Jam the same kind of umbrella still under Universal. Mm-hmm. So we were still Interscope and Shady Records. They just added another whole label to us.
So how did that change things for you?
So basically, we had to shut down our office that you knew of down in Soho. We couldn't have
that was a fun one.
That was fun one. That was so fucking, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. It was like tearing down like the house that I grew up with as a child. Like,
yeah.
Because mind you, I'm 41 years old. I literally was there since I was 22.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally. Mm-hmm. So it was weird where you really noticed that, Dad, I'm freaking, like, it's weird because when you work at the major in that building, they are definitely spoiled in a different way, right? In a totally different way. And it's almost kind of like a high school college vibe. It's really hard. It's kind of horrible. It's almost to a vibe where, at least for me, like I always felt like I get more work done at home because when I'm in those environments and being a dynamo like myself and like how Karin would be if she was in those environments, everybody starts coming to you for their shit. Everybody's coming to you to help them with their shit. It's almost like being in fucking college or high school, I would assume, more so high school, but like people coming at you to help them with your projects because you're the smartest kid in the fucking school. It's like, so that was whack for me because like water cooler talk turns into 2-hour conversations of their shit, and then it's like,
and then can you do this?
Right? Can you do this? Can you do that? All kinds of crazy shit. But
but you're also like an ideas guy, so like
but that's why I said that's where it kind of started to get like super positive because first I'm into like, I don't like nobody. I don't care about, I don't want to know. I don't want to work with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. Rawr. But then it's just like, wait. When they're like, and they'll just like, I hope this don't come off right because it's not what I'm trying to say. But it's kind of like, let me just word it differently, I guess. But it's like when people don't know certain things, that's when it's good. Like some people be like, oh, you don't know something. I hate working at a place. It's a bunch of W's. But other people be like, oh shit, they don't know stuff. Oh, let me take advantage of the things that they don't know. And so we kind of more so was like, oh shit, y'all don't got this, y'all not doing that. Let's take advantage of these things y'all don't have. And y'all gonna give us money to do this independently and not want to own it? Okay, that's great. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're just doing pockets, and then you start finding little champions in there and different things like that. Then you start learning the lay of the land. Like, oh shit, like, oh wow, I could book this whole conference room and do this and do that. Oh shit, I could oh wow, Capital is under me. Oh, let me go see if I have any friends down there. And it's like, oh, it's all my friends is down here. It's like, so then it kind of like turned into like a smorgasbord of like business for me, because I'm just going to each floor, doing different things. I'm working artists, I'm working merchandise, I'm fucking like, it was amazing. It was good, but it was good for me, but I would have to say experience for the artists. I didn't see how artists could be successful there like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's like, how Shady was, it's like 10, 11, 12 of us, we could kind of focus in. We all kind of wear like 4 or 5 hats, get certain things done. These places, they got, project manager, the PR person, the marketing person, this person, that person. And then they got all these other projects with them. And then it doesn't really feel like they give the time, the execution to particular ones. It's almost like they almost kind of like if it was a bonfire, they're going to gravitate to the biggest bonfire. So whoever's the biggest artist, it's like I never gravitated to Eminem's work because I never felt like if you're doing it with him, it's going to go. So it really don't matter because it's going to go regardless at the stage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's cool to do the cool things or whatever he accepts it, and you do the cool things. But it's like, come on, that shit's going to go. I took more of my kudos when it was like the up and coming artists, new shit, different things like that. So it's like you've seen like amazing artists get signed. Like you're like, oh shit, I can't wait to attack this. And then it's just like, and honestly, to keep it real, I'm just gonna give your podcast some like great, like whatever and such shit. It's like when you know that it probably would take anywhere from $3,000 to $20,000 to get like a record on radio, right? And then you know that this artist has a budget of maybe like $100,000, $300,000, and that label isn't getting that record on the radio. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, how does that even?
It just makes no sense. And then it even makes no sense that the A&R or the project manager is just not saying, yo, just take that money and just do that. So it's like you rather let it fail than doing certain little things that you know is necessary to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's just like, all because it wasn't time within that particular program director at the station to put that song in there because other, like, what?
Yeah.
So it's just like, or it's like, oh, you didn't put that artist on that tour. That was the tour of that artist's whole demographic, that whole type of fan base.
Why would they not do that? I don't understand that. Like, it's like all these opportunities.
Sometimes it's personal things. Sometimes it's little fuck ups of people just fucking up. It's a lot of
the thing about mistakes. Entertainment that I didn't really understand is like, you'd have these like the really, really talented artists like wouldn't get the attention and like growth that they should have, and then the ones that weren't that great were like exploding.
And that's why in my history
weird.
That's why in the history I had to like look back and give like people like Paul Rosenberg even that much more respect on having only a few artists, because within only having a few artists, you give everybody that attention.
More attention.
You know what I'm saying? And I always say, I always say like when you sign labels, like getting a bank loan, everybody gets the bank loan, but it's about what you're going to do with your loan. You know what I'm saying? And it's about also going back into the bank and asking for guidance. Like, you know, it might be other departments that you might want to talk to about your money. But if you're not going to speak to all the departments, you're not taking advantage of the bank to its fullest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, it's like, for instance, you get X amount of bread, and the first thing you go do is buy something that's $100,000 and not buy stuff that's like, not go buy beats or go buy certain things that's going to make you more money. Then you're just doing dumb shit. Like,
you have to focus on earning money.
I just had a conversation with an artist today where, you know, trying to get her signed and certain things like that. And she's worried about how things sound like name wise, but like the business wise, it's just like you're bugging. So it's like, give you an example. It's like, she doesn't want this project to be labeled as her album, right? Because creatively, whatever. But in her obligation, if she put it out as her album, she lands and fits the obligation for her to continue to do better business, to get a better option, to get more money. But so you would, because you're so creative and you're so about your art, let the, you know, to keep it real, the devilishness of the industry of the deal, because they're not giving you everything you want, but you're going to give them everything they want just because of your creative aspect. So that's where it's kind of like, you are creative, but you also got to know that you're a businesswoman at the same time.
Right.
So it's like, maybe it might be better for you to do the situation of the obligation and get that done with, so you can not be so tied to this label.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, it's just like when artists grow up, that's when things will be best. When artists really start growing up and take the Russ approach to things, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure that would ever happen. But
no, some will, because you got Russ, you got people like Russ, you got a lot of people, and then like all these other nuances, you know, if you could just get relationships with the DSPs, the digital stream providers like Apple and Spotify, and kind of like tailor and attack them like their radio stations, right? If you would get like, you really don't need the label. You really don't, because if like, what are you asking? Like before, you was asking the label to put your stuff in the store. There's no store.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's changed. Oh, well, we lost him. So, so it looks like Alvon's phone died, which I already predicted that was the case because I know him so well. But that was awesome. So thank you, Alvon, who's not here to be with us, for joining. And for all you viewers out there, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Rubbing weenies.
Next time on Rubbing Weenuses.
Weenuses.
Not weenies.
Weenies sounds so much worse. Weenus is also
much
bad.
worse than what it's supposed to be. I love how you just learned it's a weenus now, even though that's like been a thing. Like
I feel like I knew that, but I didn't like no.
Yeah. Now that you have the show Rubbing Elbows, you're like, oh,
rubbing weenuses.
Yeah, of course. I don't know if that's the technical name. We'll just put that out there.
It's not. It's slang. I looked it up.
Yeah. Urban Dictionary style.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Like, subscribe, comment, share our stuff out. It definitely helps.
Send a friend.
Yeah, send to a friend. I like that. Rub elbows with others by rubbing our elbows.
Rub weenuses with your friends.
That is where we cut it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Till next time.